Now, simple robotics and programmable toys have a long history. It starts way back when with this massive turtle as big as my head, in fact, bigger, called a Roma. Now, the Roma turtle was so heavy. And I have one in the garage, I confess. I was given one, and gosh, what a great present. It's about 3 kilograms, so really heavy. You definitely didn't want to drop it on your toe. The Roma has since evolved, and it's evolved into a Roma base plate, a primary Roma, an infant Roma, and an early years Roma. And I so hope that's still being sold, because it really gave us a nice progression of programming. The Roma has had babies, and I don't mean that literally, because these are made by different companies. But of course, the Bebot was one of the most accessible toys. And these were often given out by organisations when you did a large order. So we know that lots of services have Bebots, these bright yellow things, in their storerooms, but many don't know how to use them. And we'll touch on them today. We also saw the Probot. He's been discontinued, so we'll leave him to the side. And of course, the Lego products. So Lego RCX, Lego NXT, and then these humanoid robots, which cost often upwards of $1,000. Lots of toys are about in the robotic space, whether they're robo-pets, and there's lots of those, or the Mechanos, or indeed things like Lego We Do Little Bits, which is an interesting STEM toy because it doesn't necessarily move through space, but there are still movable parts that you're combining to create that programmable toy. And we could have a session on any one of these, Michael. There's so many things we could talk about.
There are, aren't there?
Dash and Dot, or as they're now called, Bo and Yana. Sorry, I think they started as Bo and Yana. Oh, I get confused. They were one or the other. Of course, came about. And then Kibo out of Marina Bear's research. And Kibo is lovely because you have to scan a barcode to program Kibo. More recently, about 5 years ago, we saw the Primo Cubetto, and Cubetto is beautiful and slow moving and uses a puzzle interface as the program. And then even more recently, Lego Duplo brought out their very popular steam train. That steam train's kind of fun, I have to say. You put coloured pieces on the track to program the toy. Although, of course, it really does rely, well, no, it doesn't rely on a track, but the program relies on the track. Recently, Fisher-Price jumped into this space with Codapillar. And Codapillar, you plug in pieces of that tail to create your program. But the two I want to really hone in on today are the Ozobot, and the Ozobot is tiny. So look how small the Ozobot is, guys. A little bit of a choking hazard. A little bit of a choking hazard, something to be aware of. But gosh, it's fun. And the last one I want to hone in on today, because it's so commonly used, is this little fella, the Bebot. The Bluebot, sorry. So the Bebot and the Bluebot are made by the same company, but the Bluebot uses something called a clear box technology. And if I turn that on, and I will endeavour to turn it on without turning the sound on, you can see literally inside the device. You can see its speaker, which is where the sound comes out. You can see the buttons. You can see the mechanics to make the wheels work. And of course, you can see its microprocessor and its plates. Now, the Bluebot is quite clever because at its most base level, it is a simple programmable toy. I can use it exactly like this, but it also works by Bluetooth, so you can plug it in and connect it with your iPad. So again, we've got that level of programming. Now, I think I've probably lost a few people, Michael, who are thinking, oh my goodness, I didn't come to talk about products, but we need to have these conversations so that we can get on to what does this mean and what have I got in my storeroom and is it appropriate? Yeah. So simple programmable toys are this really lovely group of toys where there's a simple and direct programming interface where children, very young children from about 3 years of age, can enter their programming without needing to understand numbers, programming systems, and they just use things like arrows to move forward and backwards. What that means is that our youngest learners are able to engage in a playful way without the need of an adult to say, do this, do this, do this, do this. It also means that you don't have to have that formal understanding of mathematics or STEM to be able to have fun. So I mentioned all of these toys, and we might just actually skip over those because this is just a quick overview of